Welcome back to Owlchemist Tarot, serving tarot straight up. So this is your general weekly reading for February 28th through March 6th. Now, I've already pulled a couple cards on TikTok, so if you don't follow me, make sure you follow me there, because then I post and do the full reading on my YouTube channel. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Love you're here. Please subscribe so you know when new videos go up. If you're a return subby, always appreciate it. So the three cards that I pulled for this week, and I'll pull more, but I want to get into kind of an overview. We got the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands. So two really out of the gate new beginnings. And again, you may not see this shift and change this week, but just know that this energy is starting to come in. And again, this is a general reading, so it may not be for all of you, and the time may be different for everyone, okay? So this can mean in a few weeks, in a few months, certainly. But new beginnings, things are starting to manifest in your world, that things you can touch, feel, and see. This could be a move. You could be buying and selling property, a new job offer, even a new relationship, possibly like moving in together. The Ace of Wands is a really creative opportunity. So you could have this like surge of like exciting energy that you want to start to push out there. And you might be driven or motivated to get yourself out there too. The next card we got was the Star card. This is an excellent, this is just beautiful energy. The Star card is ruled by Aquarius. So all about that future facing, perspective and what's going to be good for the masses. So for some of you, you really are starting, whether it's a business or launching a product or, getting yourself out there, you're using the newest technology. You're looking at ways that, unfortunately you might be a little uncomfortable at first, but to get yourself out to a larger audience. The other thing too is that the Star card is a wish card. It's a sign that positive energy, that you're on the right path and things are moving in the right direction, that you're starting to become aligned with the things that you want to manifest. So to me, this is showing that if you have been focusing on you doing the work, doing the due diligence, not being distracted by all the drama, the BS, whether you see it on social media or it's things that are going on in your personal life, that's good, because you need to really become tunnel vision and focus on what you're trying to accomplish here, because you have a surge of new energy that you want to capitalize and ride that wave. This feels very business related too. Like for some of you, you guys are on the cusp or launching something, or you've been working behind the scenes, and you're going to start to see milestones being hit and kind of starting to make some progress and movement. The Star card also is really sharing that your wishes are coming true, and they may look a little different, but almost better than you could expect. Sometimes we create this narrative in our head, and we need to think bigger, and we need to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. And so for many of you, you're being asked that, and watch how things start to actually unravel and reveal themselves. And they could be better than you could have even anticipated, but you have to trust yourself and, follow your gut, really. And the Star card is, because it's ruled by Aquarius, Aquarius is all about intellect and, insight and that knowing, that intuition that every single person has. Listen to yourself. This is a time to trust yourself. So let's see what else we have coming out. Let me just pull a few more cards here, and we'll pull in more toward money, career, and relationships, and see kind of what comes out for everybody. All right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So we got, for the money area, we got the King of Wands, and you have the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. This tells me that for many of you, if you're self-funding something, you're going to have to do it on your own. Excuse me, I have a little string on my sleeve. The King of Wands is all about making money moves and is very smart. And by the way, it's not about gender, so it's he, she, or they. The King of Wands energy is about entrepreneurship and building businesses and making things happen, being a connector and knowing who to talk to, who to get in front of, who can kind of help you, give you guidance, and also sales. This is about marketing and sales. So for many of you, you are having to maybe get in front of maybe the right investors. You're having to look at creative ways to actually build up your funds or your investments. But the one thing I will tell you that I feel like this is not, it's not about taking on a partner. So when I say about investors, it's like being really cautious on when you bring that in to your opportunity or your life, especially if this is business and career related, okay? This is not something that you're relying on others to do for you. It's like you're really being the go-getter with the King of Wands and getting yourself out there, being very assertive, and again, making those relationships and connections to either, build your investments, to figure out what the right investments are. For some of you, this is trying to figure out, what opportunities can give you the biggest and best return on investment. So you're starting to really look at the numbers and the data, and you're starting to really, tap into experts that can help you leverage their expertise so you can get more knowledge and understanding. Overall, I would say the King of Wands, especially for this week, you definitely need to kind of keep, when it comes to money matters, what you're spending on and why, okay? So if it's not toward your goal and not building yourself and growing and investing in yourself, why are you spending it? And I'm not telling you that you shouldn't spend money, but frivolously, you know what I mean? It's like really determining why you're spending certain things and can you justify it. And I'm not talking about bills and food and gas. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like going to the bar and spending a couple $100 on drinks and food. Like, is it necessary? You know what I mean? So you're kind of looking at, what you're focusing on and where your money is going, because you have a bigger goal in mind, and you want to make sure that especially if you're self-funding it, that you are kind of putting the sense where they're going to impact and give you the most growth. Okay. So in the career zone, we have, the 8 of Wands in reverse, and we also have the 3 of Wands. For some of you, I think that, this is kind of this week has kind of kickstarted you that you need a change. You want a different, job or career, or work with a different company. And, for some of you, maybe you've gotten not the best of news, or you've gotten wind of like something not working out in your favor that you were really hoping for. And this is kind of like the last straw, the needle that broke the camel's back, if you will. So I think for based on this like new beginning energy in the star card, I think that this has been kind of like a pivotal time for you, whether it's this week or it's, happened already or even upcoming, where it's like you now know you have to make the changes. You absolutely have to put, things into place and get the wheels in motion. One thing I want to mention is that, the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands, these are new beginnings. It's the start of something. So you have to be consistent and continue to put action behind it, right? You have to be diligent and motivated for the change, because if not, it will still stay at this beginning point if you don't put, that effort in and be, diligent in what you're doing. So career-wise, for some of you, this is the time now to brush up that resume, to start reaching out to people, whether it's your LinkedIn or your former, your colleagues or whatever the case is. Start to make those connections and really start to communicate that you're now looking seriously and you're getting out there. Put your portfolio together, whether it's web-based or whatever you do, and start to market yourself and make it known that you are now looking for a change. Because I think some people have been really waiting and kind of hoping that you've been wanting to make a different move, and they just need to know this. So this is not the time to be quiet about it. I'm not saying you want to blast it from the rooftops and ruin your current position. I'm saying be strategic, but definitely let the people know that can kind of help word of mouth and let people know that you're looking. Let them know, because this is the time, this energy, this new beginnings, like you need to take and use that energy to move forward. And, you can't always do it by yourself. Okay. So this is the time to really get with people who have your best, have your best, opportunities in mind, and they want to see you win. And if you want that change, again, it is up to you to make these decisions to get things going. In the relationship zone, it's interesting. I'm going to pull one more card because I feel like this is interesting because we have 2 5s here with the Sun in reverse. The Sun in reverse is not a negative card. It's actually a very positive card, but there could be some doubt or even maybe some self-reflection that you're going through. The Sun card in reverse, again, it's really about seeing kind of the brighter side of things, but even though you might be going through maybe some cloudy moments, if that makes sense. You have the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So 2 5s, 10, right? 10s are ending. So for some of you, it's getting out of a relationship where there was a lot of conflict, a lot of unnecessary arguing, not being in alignment with each other, not having the same whether it's the same moral code, but, wanting the same things and moving in the same direction, right? Also feeling like maybe you weren't as respected or treated as good as you could be, and, walking away from that. So, and whether that's something that's recently happened to you, or it's something that's happened to you multiple times and you've now been single for a while, but you're kind of looking at it where it's like, look, I need to take responsibility. And why are things still bothering me, or why am I hesitant to enter into a new relationship? So I think with the sun in reverse, it's almost like this hesitancy. It's not that you are scared or nervous or you need a ton of time to heal. I think it's more of you trusting yourself again and believing that you deserve happiness and deserve a partner who really wants to be there with you and to grow with you. And you can absolutely attract that into your life, and you can find that person and they can find you. What's happened in the past are sometimes just hard lessons that, all of us have to go through. And it is that self-reflection too. And that sun is always like that. It's like this self-reflection moment where you're starting to realize, like, okay, I may have misread some of those red flags or allowed some behavior that I normally would never let happen or linger, but I did. Why? So it's kind of starting to evaluate your own, yourself and your actions. That way you can be better prepared for the next relationship you step into. I'm just going to pull a couple more cards around that because I feel drawn to, and Spirit's saying to do it. So I don't argue when they tell me not to do that. Sorry, that was a big pack of cards. That was a lot of them flipped out. Sorry about that. If it's one or two that flip out, fine. But like if it's a whole ton of cards, no thanks. Okay. Interesting. That one is that one. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So some of the cards that I pulled, interesting, another 5 came out. So lots of changes, a lot of changes in the relationship, area of your life, or what you want out of a relationship. Okay. The 5 of Swords is sometimes known as the empty victory. It's like, yes, you can go to war and fight with somebody and argue with somebody, but is it worth it? Like, you have to look at where your energy is going to be best spent. So this feels like more for some of you that have been out of a relationship recently, and maybe it's an ex that you still have a connection with. Maybe you have kids, or there's a divorce lingering, or whatever the case is. But watch how you engage with this person, because a lot of times all they want is a fight. All they want is to see you get worked up. So for many of you, you've learned this lesson, and for some of you, you need to be aware of this, that this it's not worth it, right? Dealing with a person, especially in an aggressive manner, is not going to help you. It's only going to get you more agitated. This is something you're going to have to learn to walk away from. Again, if you already have, that's great. But if not, the 8 of Cups in reverse is saying that, look, it is important to walk away from things that, and if you have, that's great. But if you haven't, emotionally disconnect, because there are better people suited for you, and you don't have to be stuck with the ex that just continues to linger, or whatever the case is. And remember that Sun card in reverse, it's a lot of self-reflection. Don't be hesitant to dive into that and ask yourself, why do I still feel connected to this person? Or why is it that their energy still is around, and I am I inviting that in? What's going on? And even if you're not, you have the choice to interact with a person or not, or deal with their energy or not. Again, I really feel like this is the time not to necessarily jump into anything new. The Page of Wands, even though it, for some of you, might be getting quite a few people seeking you out, whether you're newly single or you've been single for a while. But you may not emotionally feel like you want to jump into anything serious or even start dating just because you're not emotionally there yet. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. And again, for some of you, it's just that you're not, the timing isn't right. Your focus is elsewhere, and that's okay. But ultimately, you're going to know when to jump into the dating pool or back into a relationship, and if you're with somebody and everything's cool as a cucumber, like, this message probably isn't for you anyway. But it's always good to reflect on your own behavior regardless of where your relationship is, okay? But the 10 of Cups came out in this last card. So again, so much self-reflection. I feel like for so many of you, you've really understand and have gone through quite a few relationships that, number one, haven't worked out. But what was your part in that? And that's a critical piece. So what are the lessons and blessings that you've taken away from every one of those relationships? And realizing that you don't have to exert your energy with people. You don't have to give them that. They don't have to have access to you. And once you understand this, and when you can cut that tie and cut emotionally away and say, look, just, I wish you the best, but you don't need to be in my path anymore. A lot of this is self-reflection. And again, don't jump into anything that you're not really willing to give it a 100% or a true effort of your time. The 10 of Cups is happiness. And sometimes being happy is single, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the 10 of Cups, when you find you, they find you, okay? This is all about coming a really long way. And remember, you have to cut off what doesn't serve you in order to get and make room for the happiness that is meant to come in your life, okay? So I hope this reading has helped. It's a little different format for this week. And again, this energy, the time frame could definitely differ for all of you. It doesn't mean this week everything's going to happen like this, but just know that there's a lot of new beginnings and a lot of great things that are coming down and in for you and to you, and just trust yourself that you're making the right decision. You're on the right path. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk soon.